You're listening to the Dream and Achieve Project, and I am your host, Brent Fierstead. Funny thing happened to me on my way to true happiness and success as a fitness trainer and entrepreneur. I made every mistake in the book. But there's one thing that sets me apart. I focus on goals in front of me, charging ahead, and never looking back. This podcast will help you fight through the struggles life hands you so you're equipped to persevere. I'll introduce you to leaders and entrepreneurs who have made their dreams come true and are willing to share their secrets to true success and happiness. Let's go!
All right, guys, welcome back to the Dream and Achieve Project. I am here with John Dames today. This guy is a young entrepreneur killing the game. Everywhere I look on the internet or social media, I see him everywhere, hitting up all these big name guys and just moving the ball. He's the owner of 99 Media.
Yes, sir.
Also, the top business podcast as far as the No Excuses show is his podcast. He's killing it there. Yeah, man, if you want to give a little intro as far as who you are, shoot.
All right, let's do it, man. Well, first of all, I appreciate you having me on. I'm really excited to be on. And I'm just a regular 19-year-old kid, man. That's what I tell everybody with just above average dreams and goals. Really, the CEO of my company, 99 Media, which is a digital marketing agency. And then I'm the host of No Excuses show. Also do a little bit of writing as well. I just published an article about a week ago. It's doing pretty well. And then speaking now, that's exciting. I know how to speak into a microphone, but on a stage, it's going to be something to figure out, but it'll be fun. And then also serve as the director of marketing for a health and wellness company called Zvel. So it's been a fun journey over these past, 6 months to a year. And I love life. And I'm fortunate to say that I am where I'm at.
So let's just start out with, how did you get to starting where you're at now? I mean, you were a dropout out of high school, correct?
Yeah, I got kicked out of high school, so which is not as cool. So I just kind of just say I'm a dropout because that's basically how it went down. Yes. So in 10th grade, I got kicked out of high school for my behavior and my grades. So I never did very well in school, and I transitioned into homeschooling. And looking back, Ed Milet always talks about, like, you're going through a situation in your life. Yeah, max out. I love it. You're going through a situation in your life, and it seems so bad at the time. But then when you go through that, you realize how much it served you and it was a blessing. So I remember that whole experience and how bad it was, but I didn't realize how much of a blessing it was really for me. And got kicked out of high school, transitioned into homeschooling, where I was going to school literally about 8 hours a week. And my spark for business, came about. I was always very talkative. I was always kind of hustling, but I started reselling rare sneakers and clothing. That was something that I had a passion for. So like Yeezys, Supreme, Fear of God, all that type of stuff.
Yep.
Doing that. And I funded that through working, I say part-time, but it was basically full-time at a grocery store, making minimum wage. But I was just saved my money, minimum expenses. I was still in high school, and funded my whole business. And what I came to find out was I loved it so much, but I didn't really know much about business, but I did pretty well in that. And I learned a lot of lessons. So that was the biggest thing for me, not the monetary side, but the lessons that I learned and the people that I got to meet through that. That eventually failed. And then senior year of high school, I launched my digital marketing company. And just through, persistence and working hard, I'm here today.
So that's kind of we don't talk about gaining money. We talk about helping people and serving people, but that's your business is, helping people, serving people, and you're getting money through that business, correct?
100%, man. That's the old cliche quote of, the more people you help, the more money you make. You know what I mean? So just solving problems. And I was watching something with Elon Musk today, and Elon is such a genius, somebody that I have great admiration for. But at the end of the day, he's just a master problem solver. You know what I mean? It's congested traffic in LA. I'm going to build a tunnel, just stuff like that. And it's very simple, but he kind of reverse engineers it and says, how can we break it down and fix this problem? I mean, you look at the biggest companies in the world, they solve problems. So.
Yes, sure. What would you recommend to kids nowadays that are, either going to do what you did, drop out or get kicked out or skip college? Because, a lot of us put a lot of money into college, and most of these kids aren't even using those degrees, what they put all that money into. So what would you suggest to these kids?
100%. Well, I'm not going to advise anybody, I'm not going to tell you what to do with your life, but if you want to be a doctor, lawyer, obviously you need a degree. Everybody has their own path in life. And if that's what you want to do, fantastic. Those are jobs that need to be held. People need to do that. But if you have any interest in business or entrepreneurship, I personally do not feel like college is necessary. If that's what you want to get into, you're going to take $120,000. By the way, this is the only debt that's non-bankruptable. That's what a lot of people don't realize. That's a debt that stays with you until you die. Is student loan debt, and it's honestly a crisis, man. It's trillions of dollars worth of debt that people are in to not even turn around and use it. So my advice is, if you're going to school, your parents are making you go to school and you're not seeing any financial success, I would try to get the ball rolling on a business, but I would major in something like psychology instead of something like business or entrepreneurship. Because then with a degree, like if I had to go to school right now, I'd major in psychology and just learning about the human mind and how it works. Because if you master that, you master business.
Yeah.
So that's what I would tell people to do if you're going to go to college, and you have to. But if you're already seeing any type of significant success and you've set your life up and you have discipline, I think that not going to college and trying out being an entrepreneur will really work for you. I mean, obviously you can always go back to college. That's a route that's always there. But some people reach a certain age or certain point where their goals and their dreams kind of burn out.
Yep.
That would be my advice to people. Just follow your heart, follow what it is that you want to do, and build a good support system around you to support you through everything that you do, and make sure you have good people in your life.
Yeah, I'm a huge believer in, like you said, things happen for a reason. I was basically in school just because of sports, and then I
Right.
went to college just to play sports. But going to college to play sports, you either got to be NFL caliber type player, NBA type caliber player, or you ain't going to get that job that you're shooting for. So I ended,
100%.
I ended up dropping out of college because I hate school anyway. I was just there for sports.
Me as well.
And
Yeah, I hated it.
yeah, for sure. Then things happened to me as far as, I ended up playing semi-pro football, could have played arena league football. And then I thought to myself, hey, what's the next best thing to help people out? And I said, hey, personal training, starting to do
100%.
that. So, things do happen. You just got to listen to the atmosphere and the market around you and roll your dice and go after it.
100%. And it's all about taking risk, man. Anything that you do that's going to have a big payout, it's going to be risky. It's going to be hard. But when you get uncomfortable for a certain amount of time, and then you're going to end up being very comfortable in your life. It's like the things that we don't want to do. I forget who, I think it's Tim Ferriss that says this. The things that we don't want to do most are the things that we most need to do. So like, it's uncomfortable. If you're not willing to get uncomfortable, you're not going to succeed. I believe you're not going to succeed in anything, because the things that you really, and you see it 100% of the time. I mean, when somebody's getting 6-pack abs, they hate their life. It's not fun, but it's the payout that is the benefit. So if you're not willing to get uncomfortable and you just want to live an average, normal life, that's totally fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But people that are average, they don't normally change the world. And that's not what I wanted to do. Anything that's related to average, it's not my forte.
Let's talk about mentors and influencers. I mean, you keep quoting these guys like Tim Ferriss and things like that. So obviously, you're reading books, you're doing your studying and your knowledge. What would you say are your mentors now, and what books would you recommend to people as far as gaining these knowledge?
100%. So like with books, when I never was a reader. Like I said, I didn't do well throughout school. And the first guy that got me introduced to the game was Dave Ramsey, because I'm in the South. Dave's a big guy out here. I don't know if you're familiar with any of his stuff, but I took his personal finance course in 11th grade through homeschool. And that was the best thing that I've ever done. Probably one of the best things I've ever done for myself. And that was amazing. Just learning from him, and then started picking up books that he had written, and then started to branch out into other personal development and business books. And I found out very early, I was like, man, there's books that are written by people that are massively successful. I was like, why is nobody into this?
Yeah.
And it's funny because you go to a place like Barnes and Noble and you see a small business section, and then you see a huge section of like these these fiction, sci-fi, just books that bring no value to your life. And it's funny, but there's so many resources out there of $30 books, $20 books, and you can, go get them for $8 and might have a tidbit or snippet in there that could make you an incredible amount of money off a $30. Like that's going to be your best ROI, is buying a $30 book and implementing the things that you learn within that. And not only books, but mentors. John Malott is a great man. And he always says this, your life is about the books that you read and the people that you associate yourself with. So mentors is definitely the biggest thing. And I like to say with mentors, I don't learn so much from their successes, but I learn more from their failures. So you can avoid those. You're obviously going to have failures, but if there's anything that you can learn from somebody, I would much rather learn about their failures, because everybody has success stories, but not a lot of people are vulnerable enough to share their failure stories.
Yeah, for sure.
So I want to go into my mentors really quick, if that's okay. Is that okay?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. I want to, because there's two guys that have changed my life and that I love to death. So my first mentor was a man named PJ Costello, and I've known him since I was a baby. He's like my godfather. And I went out to work with him in Kansas City when I was in 11th grade during the summer, and I lived with him for 4 months. And I went on to do that until I graduated high school, actually. And I didn't necessarily make a impeccable, crazy amount of money. It was nothing like that, but I learned so much within business, and just him mentoring me and me riding in the car with him and just listening to him on the phone and seeing how he operated. That's what really got me in love with entrepreneurship and made me really want to go for it. And now my current mentor that I'm literally with every day is a man named Justin Curatola. So Justin has worked with massive companies in Silicon Valley. He's been able to do very well, family man, and he's just an amazing guy. So having him in my life has definitely been one of the biggest things to say that I've gotten where I'm at now today.
Nice, man. How are you approaching these influencers? I know how, but maybe you can tell the listeners. I mean, you're talking to Jet Set, you're talking to Casey Adams, you're talking to, all these up and coming entrepreneurs. How are you approaching these guys?
So the biggest thing that you want to do is you want to have some type of value to deliver these people with. And that's something that I found out very early, because you got to understand these guys' DMs are flooded. So you have to catch their attention. And I have another page, and even people do it with me, but it's not as bad. We have a page called Successful Founders, and we're at like 60,000 followers on that page. And we get DMs that are literally just like, hey, that's not bringing anybody any value, especially people that are busy and that move quickly. They're not going to, sit there and have a conversation with somebody that they don't know through Instagram DM. So the biggest thing for me was breaking into the circle of influence. And I was very fortunate for Ricky Gutierrez. I want to give him a huge shout out. That's an amazing, amazing gentleman. And him and I really connected, and he flew me out to Arizona, and I got him on my 6th or 7th episode of my podcast. And having him on and having him to vouch for me and having him as a personal connection really opened up my doors to a lot of these other people, because these people, it's not about how much money you make with a lot of these people. It's about what type of person you are. So when people saw that, I guess, and this is not to sound arrogant, but I was quote unquote good enough to hang around Ricky and a good enough person, and, with being ambitious, they kind of were accepting of me. And just reaching out to people through Instagram DM, it's very simple, and just with the straight value. And I never really mess around on Instagram DM, just because it's such a quick platform. I don't send people I always do video messages, and then I just comment and say, check your DM. And then obviously I send a good enough message where they want to become friends with me or come on the podcast or whatever.
Like a video message through Instagram, or
video message through Instagram. Yeah.
Nice. So you're extremely busy all the time. Like I said, I see you everywhere, killing it. What were some tips you would say for managing your time?
100%. So one of the biggest ones for me is Calendly. And it's basically a calendar software where you send people your link and they go plug in when they want to meet with you. And another thing is just being a good steward of my time, because my time is one thing that I can never get back. So for instance, maybe somebody wants to do a meeting and it's going to be round trip, and I calculate things in my head. So maybe round trip, it's going to be 3 hours. When we can jump on a 25-minute phone call, I'm picking the phone call all day. Just being a good steward of my time. And obviously there's different things that I've not necessarily wasted time for, but spent more time on. Like when I did the podcast with Ryan White, I'm in Nashville. I drove out to Atlanta to meet him and interact with him. And that was something that could have easily been done over video, over Skype, over Zoom. But I did that, and I spent 8 hours round trip just so I could start to cultivate my relationship with him and shoot some content and just have a good time. But there's different things that you just need to be a good steward with your time, number one, and just prioritize. Say, and there will be people that approach me and they want to hop on the phone and network or whatever, which is great. I love interacting with people. I love helping people. But I always ask this one question: what's our objection with this call? Because I would love to just get on the phone with everybody that messages me and chat it up with them. But I want to have a clear objection and not just get on the phone for 30 to 45 minutes and just, kick the barrel. I really try to guard my time correctly. And once you do that, you'll be a warrior, honestly. Once you're good with your time and once you're smart with it, you can achieve crazy things.
That's great advice, man. And to go off of that, as far as your time, as far as social media too, I'm on social media, probably 2 to 3 hours a day, which I feel like a lot of time I'm wasting my time looking at everyone else's crap. What would you say as far as that? I mean, would you plan out your posts, plan out your quotes, everything that you're doing, and just put it on a set schedule? Or how much time are you putting into social media a day?
I used to kind of do a lot of aimless scrolling on Instagram, but the good thing about it is now I do it every once in a while. But the good thing about it is now my feed is filled with people that are inspiring and motivating me.
Yeah.
That's a good thing about it. Like if it was just a bunch of Instagram models that I was staring at all day, that obviously wouldn't be super productive or beneficial for me. And it's the truth.
Yeah.
But these people that are, really doing a good job changing people's life, multimillionaires, I like looking at their stuff because it inspires me. In terms of me posting on Instagram, it doesn't really take that long. And I'm pretty good with not spending a ton of time on Instagram for my personal Instagram. But, for my clients, obviously I'm on there a pretty good bit. But I think that if you catch yourself needlessly scrolling, just get up and take action and do something. The busier you are, the less time you'll waste because you won't be able to waste time, right? So if you find yourself doing something like that, just go do something productive, read a book, whatever it is that you do, read a book, listen to a podcast. And if you are going to needlessly scroll on Instagram, have something playing in your ears, like a podcast, or a audible book or whatever the case may be, but don't just aimlessly scroll. It's a big waste of time.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Andy Frisella. I'm part of First Form and things like that. And he always talks about the pivot point of thinking. If you're going to think about going to the gym, you don't get up right away and do it, you're probably not going to do it. So it kind of goes with that as far as social media and everything in life. If you're thinking
100%.
about it, get up and do it. Don't just sit there and ponder about it because you probably ain't going to do it.
100%, man. And fear and doubt. This is one of the biggest principles that I live my life by. Fear and doubt, they build up over time. So when there's something that you want to do or you need to do, just take immediate action and go for it. Whether it's a phone call, you want to reach out to somebody, go to the gym, your fear and doubt is going to build up as you wait. And you wait more and more and more, and then it just cripples what it is that you're going to do. So taking immediate action is literally the best piece of advice that I can give to anybody listening right now.
Yeah, man, I think you've given out some good advice, dropped some bombs, as you like to say.
Dropping bombs.
What are your future plans? I know you got a speaking event coming up here. April, sometime in April, right?
14th, yeah.
Good. If you want to tell the listeners, kind of what your future plans are, what you're striving towards as far as your goals, that'd be something cool. I think people would like to learn about.
100%, man. My chief definite aim is to train companies in Silicon Valley on sales and marketing and strategy and team building. I love the information that I've been able to learn. And if I can pass that on to somebody and help them, that'll be huge. And I feel like speaking is my strong suit. So anything that I can do with speaking is going to be, beneficial for me. But that's definitely my chief definite aim is to train companies in Silicon Valley.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's that speech all about for your April?
I'm just going to be speaking on podcasting and building your influence and reaching out to influencers and networking. It's going to be very fun. So that's at the NetCon event in Long Island, New York on April 14th.
Nice.
Yeah.
I guess in closing, we'll make this kind of short and sweet.
Yeah.
What is one piece of advice you would give to the listeners as far as maybe social media and things like that? Obviously, we kind of hit a lot of things there, but maybe if you want to give them one piece of advice as far as how you got to where you are, that'd help them out.
100%, man. Just take action. Like, you're not going to know everything when you first begin. And if you waste time figuring it out, you're just going to fail. So whatever it is that you want to do it and, try different things, especially while you're young. Find what it is that you want to do and just get really clear on that vision and just take off. And in terms of social media advice that I can give to somebody, emulate success. Like, look at what all the big fish are doing and do that and try to perfect it and put your own spin on it. Don't be a copy of anybody. Like, I see a lot of people that are just like Gary V, Walmart version. You know what I mean? Just like just trying to run around, be like Gary. If you don't do that, put your own spin on it. Be you, but you can always look at what somebody else is doing and emulate that and try to make it better.
Nice, man. I appreciate you jumping on this call. You caught me when I was working out in my home gym here, so sweaty and nasty, but it's cool. I'm glad we got in contact with each other. If you want to leave the listeners with your Instagram, your social media accounts, they appreciate that, I'm sure.
For sure, man. My Instagram is at John M. Danes, JohnMDanes. And my podcast is called The No Excuses Show. Send me a DM. I'd love to talk with you. If you need anything, hit me up. And Brent, thank you for having me on, brother.